Dis After Dark Podcast is sponsored by Unofficial.com, the home of Halloween Horror Nights news and rumors all year round. Find us on the web at www.hhnunofficial.com. So stop the fog machines and clear the cobwebs. It's time for another episode of the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Welcome to Universal After Dark, a Universal podcast that's not the same as all the others.
Tie it into Madagascar.
So essentially, I can tie it into Madagascar. So essentially, I went to London Zoo, and my parents took me to the lion enclosure, and a lion walked up to the front of the cage area, lifted its tail up, and sprayed me. But although the lion would have pissed all over me, because it had been raining that day, I had the rain cover over the buggy, and so the buggy got covered in lion wee, and not me. But I still hate my parents. Amanda, do you want to start the show?
Okay, then.
That was only last week.
Yesterday. On that note, welcome to Universal After Dark. I'm Amanda, and I'm joined today, obviously, by Nick.
Yo!
Not covered in lion wee, I hope.
Not today, I had a wash.
Not today. Craig.
Shitting.
P-Dubs.
Hello.
And Chris Ripley.
Hello.
And today, we're going to go back in time. We're going to hop into our DeLorean, and we're going to go back to the 90s.
Amanda, that's a great idea. I have one concern that I think we need to address before we jump into the DeLorean, though.
What's your concern?
Well, if we jump back into the DeLorean and go back to 1993,
yeah,
I will only be 10. And in fact, there's only one person left on the podcast that would have been of legal drinking age. So,
me?
Can we open our drinks now?
Okay.
Because otherwise, that might be illegal.
And Amanda's going to be drinking a baby sham from a bottle.
Yeah.
With the teeth on.
Yeah.
In a pram.
Okay, Nick, what are you drinking?
I am drinking, and oh God, I've been waiting for this. We've been sat here talking nonsense for the last 45 minutes waiting for Mr. Ripley to turn up, so I've been gagging for this. And it is...
Diet Pepsi Max. Coke. Cherry.
Nope, it is a Desperado.
Oh,
average tequila flavour. Oh. Not that rum stuff they did, just plain old tequila and beer. Chin chin.
Okay, Craig, what are you drinking?
Well, I didn't want to crack open the single malt whiskey, so I've got the dregs of the vodka, and I'm on vodka and orange.
Fucking orange, are you my wife?
My wife?
My wife's knickers. And
okay, Paul, what are you drinking?
I'm being a bit random. I've got a snake bite.
Oh.
A snake bite at home?
Yeah.
Kinky.
That's a throwback.
Well, we are going to the 90s.
That is true.
But ching.
Chris, what are you drinking?
Well, I've just drunk my whole body weight in rum, so at the moment I'm drinking nothing.
You are literally young, dumb, and full of
rum.
After how long it took, we thought you were full of something else.
Yeah.
Our body fluids are available. So, Amanda, that just leaves you.
I'll let you guess.
Bud.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. I'm still on the Bud Light kick. I can't get enough of it. But on that note, though, I spent the day in London the other day, and nowhere sells Budweiser in London.
Whoa. Hang on.
Nowhere.
Number one, how did you come down to London and not ask me or Ripples to come and meet you?
You were in Brighton.
That excuse.
You were dressed. You were known as Tracy, wearing... Oh, no, other names are available. You were known as Leah, wearing a crotchless dress.
I was.
Yes, that's why I couldn't hang out with you.
I'll let you off. So you couldn't find a single pub that was serving Budweiser?
I found one in the end.
On tap?
The 17th pub.
But it was the guy behind the bar was like, first said that they didn't have any, and then when I was complaining and lied and said that I was allergic to everything else and that he was spoiling my entire life, he was like, I've got a Czech Republic version of Budweiser.
Oh yeah, that's nice, that.
So I had that.
Well, that's the original Budweiser, isn't it?
That's
what he was saying to me. He was like, this isn't your American rubbish. And I was like, I'm not American, mate.
I'm a Scouser.
Yeah, well, no. From your accent, you do sound like you could have come from Alabama. You've got that certain Adam Santana twang about
Should've got your little Scouse flick knife out and stuck it in his eye.
I didn't think about it.
Other types of Scousers are available. Anyway.
At any point during the session, did your eye plop out?
Thank the Lord, no.
Stank eye!
I tried to behave a bit.
Right,
but,
come on. Let's
get in our DeLorean.
Yeah. Gotta go back in time.
Oh, yeah. So, we're going back to the 90s for a reason. We're going back to Universal Studios in the 90s because that's my favourite time at Universal. And I know that quite a few of our listeners didn't get to go to Universal in the 90s and maybe they're quite new to it. So
some of our hosts didn't either.
Yeah. So we're going to give you a tour of 90s Universal.
Now, Amanda, I just want to... look, this is your show. I'm interrupting. I know that. I don't know why the hell I'm on this podcast because I just ruin it every time. But you said that the 90s was your favourite time at Universal.
Yeah.
Some people may know this. Some listeners may not. Could you just confirm how old you would have been going to Universal back then?
I would have been between the ages of 2 and 10.
Wow.
And that just made me feel old.
Okay, I went to Universal in 1993 and I was a sprightly 19 years old.
No, 19.
And Amanda could have been there at the same time, shitting in her nappy.
Yeah.
That is horrific.
Yeah. Chris,
I was same as Nick. We were about 10, weren't we? I think
93 would have been 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're the same age as Nick. That burns me head out.
3 of us are the same age.
Your Peter's the same age as well.
So
83, baby, 83.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, listeners, I've drunk half a bottle of Desperado. I didn't drink before we started recording, so any complaints about he sounds like a drunk idiot, I'm not yet at all. I'm just an idiot, full stop.
This is just the leftover from the 45 minutes beforehand.
Oh, this is still the recovery from the gay bar on Saturday. I'm going to take you to a gay bar! Can you believe they didn't have that for karaoke, by the way? We did a karaoke session in Brighton, and they only had Danger High Voltage. They didn't have gay bar. Disappointing.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, because it'd literally be on for 18 hours a fucking day. That's why they didn't have it.
Right.
Anyway.
So, in the DeLorean.
We're in the DeLorean. We're going back.
Who's driving?
Amanda.
Me, obviously.
She's the daddy now.
So put your seatbelts on, because I'm not very good at driving.
Should we do seatbelt sound effects?
Yeah, do it.
Clunk click.
Oh, that's the Scout seatbelt if ever I've heard one.
Clunk click, governor! We don't even say governor.
Oh, yeah. With you, Mary Poppins.
It'd be clunk click, mate.
No. That was my seatbelt.
Clunk click lid.
A Londoner.
All right then. Anyway, there's no parking structure for us to park our DeLorean in because that wasn't built yet.
Well, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Well, that's true. But we still need to park our DeLorean. And so, if this was 1993, we'd be parking in a SeaWorld style parking lot right next to the Globe.
I've got no
Wow.
recollection of the car park. No recollection
It
whatsoever.
was literally just a flat car park, just like SeaWorld.
Could you remember that, Amanda?
No, but it's on my videos.
I remember it.
So
You had the Hard Rock Cafe that was right next to the car park, didn't you?
Hmm.
yeah, I'm looking at that on the map. Shaped like it's a guitar.
Like a guitar.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you'd walk towards the globe, and the globe wasn't the blue and green type globe that it is now. It was just a silver metal structure globe.
Which is now in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly.
There you go.
So when did it change then? Because I'm almost certain, and this could be a Mandela effect, I don't know, but when you used to see Nickelodeon programs filmed at Universal Studios, I thought it was the globe that's there now. But what you're saying is it would have been the silver globe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mandela me down.
It was changed, but I want to say like around the same time of Islands of Adventure.
So that'd be 99? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with that. But I'll find it and let you know. So, I'm going to walk through the arches. The arches are different now to what they were before. So before they were a kind of greyish colour, and there was a couple less arches than what there are now. But the majority of that area is still exactly the same as it is now. So it's still the same shops there and things like that. So the first attraction that we'll see, if we look to our right, is going to be Lucy, a tribute.
Is that really an attraction? Has anyone ever considered it to be an attraction?
Well, it's like
Yeah.
it's like the Walt Disney thing in Hollywood Studios, isn't it?
Yeah.
So all their clothes and that, some set props were in there.
I thought it was fantastic. I love Lucille Ball, and I was really sad when they decided to get rid of it, which was only last year, so everyone will know what it is anyway.
Can I tell you something about that?
Have you got a story? I love stories. Come
I've
on.
got a story. A certain man called James Michael Roddy told me once, who someone on here knows better than I now, told me that he wanted to convert that into a Halloween Horror Nights museum.
That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, right back when sort of late 90s, early noughties, sort of, I think it was around 2000, as a way of advertising the event for the masses all year round. Anyway, there was two things that stopped it. One, operations didn't like the fact that the first thing you'd see walking into this lovely family theme park is loads of zombies and dead puppets and clowns and things. But the other thing was there was a really, and I don't know if this still exists, there's a really strong Lucille Ball drag society. And I think they featured in jest in the film Rat Race.
Yeah.
And they got wind of this idea and wrote in and complained, and then that was the final nail in the coffin.
What?
Yeah. So it
That's
stayed.
nice.
That's why it stayed for so long, that Lucille Ball thing.
That is crazy.
Lucille Ball lives on, though, doesn't she? Or has she
she's
been
still
retired?
No, she's long dead.
But she's like there's still a walk around character.
Yeah, yeah.
Who might actually play an icon of Halloween Horror Nights.
That's true.
I don't love Lucy.
Why?
I just don't. I mean, the thing is, and I mean, Craig obviously might be able to have a different different view of things because, you know, he was alive when there was 2 TV channels and shit like that. But I never really, you know, like, I Love Lucy was something I heard of, but it was something I never ever got to see in the UK.
It was on Channel 4.
Yeah. Back like when me and Ripples and P-Dubs were like sperms in someone's ballsack, possibly, but not when we were actually able to watch TV, you nerd. So
Looked out the eye.
Well, I'm the youngest person on this podcast, and I've seen episodes of I Love Lucy.
But what I'm saying is that when I was growing up, I didn't have knowledge of I Love Lucy. I'd never seen I Love Lucy. I'm not saying I haven't seen bits and pieces afterwards, but what I'm saying is that I didn't. And yes, now in the world of like, you know, YouTube and stuff like that, you can watch an episode whenever you like. But I never had that association with her. So I knew she was an American icon, but certainly from my point of view, there was no kind of love there.
Well, that's a shame.
That's all it is. I'm not saying that anyone's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's my take on things.
Okay.
I said, look, before we start recording, earlier today, earlier in the week, I said, why do you have me on this show? All I do is mess it up.
Because there's no I in team.
So you're making me choke on my beer.
It's just like there's no B&Q in Wigan.
Well, that is a travesty.
There's a home base, but
for American listeners, that's Home Depot. B&Q is essentially Home Depot.
Right, so after Lucy a tribute, Amanda,
Yes.
we have Hitchcock.
Yes.
Now,
Who?
I've got
Fantastic.
vague recollections of this, and we've talked about that in the past. I definitely did it in '93.
Mm-hmm.
You've got better memories because your
Yeah.
dad got dragged up, didn't he?
Yeah. This is one of my favourite Universal memories that I have, is the Alfred Hitchcock attraction.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was so much fun. And I feel like that, because I went to that so much when I was growing up, that got me into watching Hitchcock movies, because obviously I wouldn't have watched them then because I was too young. But the memories of that got me really into watching Alfred Hitchcock's movies. And obviously I've got the really good memories and the really good videos of my dad being involved with the show. And I think it was just a fantastic attraction.
They should bring it back.
They should bring it back.
So is that where the horror show is now?
No.
Oh,
No.
is it Shrek?
Shrek, yeah.
Okay.
So out of 100, what score would you give it, Nick?
I would give it a strong 78.
Okay.
Having
I like that.
no idea what the hell we're talking about.
100.
No. I know the scoring system, Chris. I'm talking about the attraction. I never saw the
Hitchcock would
attraction.
be proud.
Hey.
I as a fan of film, I am a Hitchcock fan. I still think The Birds is a pretty good film. Obviously, Psycho, Strangers on a Train. Was Planes, Trains and Automobiles his as well? I can't remember. Anyway, he made some obviously cracking films. Rear Window. Lots of really good films that really set a kind of standard. So he's one of those kind of. See, that to me is more of a worthy icon than I Love Lucy. I think his films and TV shows, had more of an impact personally, globally. Than
I've never seen a
Lucy will.
Hitchcock movie.
Get
What?
off, Craig.
Get
Bye.
out.
See you later.
Get off the podcast now.
Craig, hang on.
Get out.
Surely you've seen Psycho.
I've seen bits of it.
Oh,
So you have seen a bit of one then?
No, I've never sat and watched Psycho.
Oh, mate,
God's
what?
sake.
you need to.
You know what? I've just decided. I know this is a Disney reference, but Craig is essentially Gerald from Finding Dory, and we're all telling him to piss off of our rock. Piss off, Gerald. Not seeing a Hitchcock film. Jesus H.
Can we do a pop after dark about Hitchcock?
Yeah, I'll watch them all.
In the back, you won't.
There's 54, I think, for you to watch.
I'll
Really
watch.
good stuff.
Oh, that's it now, Craig. You're stuffed. You're going to have to watch 54 films now.
Especially the
Super
last
serious.
one. Especially the last one was like, yeah, we'll do Bond. I watched all the Bonds.
How many did you watch? One?
Craig-
Because Goldfinger
has
was
got-
on.
Craig has got 87 films to watch in his back catalogue now.
It's going to be a busy weekend.
In all seriousness, you can get, and I've got this, although I still haven't watched all the films in it, but I've got a Hitchcock box set of about 20 films.
Ooh.
It's the main, ones that we're talking about. So, Psycho, Birds, Rear Window, Strangers. Rebecca, that kind of stuff. But you can normally get it quite cheap, actually. It's not a very expensive box set, considering the quality of films you get in it. So...
Can I give you a little quick factoid about the Hitchcock?
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, 2 factoids. One, Julie Zimmerman, who co-created Halloween Horror Nights, this was her favourite attraction. She actually created this from scratch.
Wow.
It was based on an idea that Steven Spielberg had.
Wow.
Steven Spielberg was a big nerd of Hitchcock, but Hitchcock always refused to meet him.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he used to loiter on the set, and Hitchcock used to have to get him security guards to take him away.
Oh my God.
Because they were both Universal directors, weren't they?
So when did Hitchcock die then?
1980.
Did he?
No, Doddy. And the other thing, which I think is brilliant, is when they was ripping that soundstage out to put Shrek in, they had a big skip out back, and they threw all the stuff from the Hitchcock attraction into the skip to go to landfill. And on top of the skip was they used to have these waxworks of Alfred Hitchcock, and one of them was sitting on top of the skip. And 2 tour guides at Universal went after the park shut one night and stole the mannequin from the skip. Can you imagine this? It's pitch black, and there's these 2 blokes carrying this Alfred Hitchcock dummy across the studio. It went away for a bit, and then now it currently sits in the touring, the VIP office, which is at the back of the theme park, and it's still there to this day.
Why does that sound like something me and you would do, Chris?
Yeah, that is definitely something you and I.
To be fair, though, like from anyone that was quite a long distance away, it would look like 2 people carrying a giant D. Unless that was always Hitchcock's thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he died so young, actually, because I'm gonna now. This is something I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to.
He wasn't young. He was an old man.
Sorry. What I meant was he died so long ago. I didn't realise it was that long ago. Not young. But I don't know if anyone else remembers this. But does anybody remember when Arachnophobia came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember the TV adverts that said in the 60s we had the Birds, in the 70s Jaws, in the 80s Alien, and now for the 90s Arachnophobia?
I don't remember it, but I bet you it's on YouTube.
You know what? It's not.
What?
I've never ever found this trailer to
Mandela
the point where
effect.
you know this is it. To the point
you
where you
dream it?
think, no, because I remember seeing it so frequently before Arachnophobia came out that it must have been. And the tagline for it was "the last word in suspense." And I've never found this advert since. If anyone listening remembers, if anyone can find it on YouTube, please, for the life of me, send us a link, because it has done my nutting for like the last 15 or so years, and I've been trying to find it.
Yeah, and if anyone has a video where Sinbad's a genie, send me
It does
that.
exist!
It does exist.
We all believe it, but no one's ever seen it.
Sinbad
I'm
off
convinced that
Brookie.
I've got it on VHS.
Yes,
somewhere.
yes. Sinbad from Brookie. Yes, that's Sinbad. not the comedian Sinbad from America. No, the Sinbad that washed the
black
windows in Brookie. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Right.
So we're going to move over to our left now.
Yeah.
So if we shimmy on over to our left, we're
Can I
going
make
to
a
have...
guess? Can I make a guess? Because I haven't seen the map, so this
Okay.
is just what I think. Was this the fantastic world of Hanna-Barbera?
It was.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Never ridden it, but...
Oh, what?
When did it close? Was it 2005?
It changed to Jimmy Neutron in, I think, 2002, 2003.
So
and
never
then
went on that either.
Despicable Me in 2012, I want to say. 2011,
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah, I think it was 12 or so, yeah.
I've got no recollection of this.
It was fantastic. It's the best version. It's been the same ride premise. So you still sit in the little moving room for every version of the ride. But it was Hanna-Barbera, so it was things like the Flintstones, Jetsons.
Oh, it's all coming back to me.
It was so good.
Were you
Flip
like
Flop McGraw.
in some sort of time travel thing vehicle.
Like a DeLorean?
Yeah. What was the story?
So
Calamari?
you'd basically just be going through all of it's exactly the same as what happens in like Despicable Me and the Jimmy Neutron version. So you're just kind of going through, and I think that you had to find something maybe.
Right.
Maybe. Yep. But you'd basically go through and see all the different cartoon characters, so you'd see like Scooby-Doo as well. And then at the end of the ride, it was a massive room that was just all like interactive things that you could play with, like Yogi Bear things and Jetsons things. It was amazing.
Was the Hair Bear Bunch in there?
Maybe.
No, it wasn't. No one likes the Hair Bear Bunch.
I like the Hair Bear Bunch. They all drove like a bin lorry.
There were no banana splits, were there? Let's be honest.
That wasn't a cartoon, though, was it? Weren't they like real bananas running around?
Was it real bananas?
Pajamas.
In pyjamas.
Or was that bananas in pyjamas?
No, they were like circus animals. So like there was an elephant, a lion, other animals, but it was Hanna-Barbera. It was Hanna-Barbera. That's the reason. Although it was live action, it was Hanna-Barbera.
Well,
so
anyway.
Was the monkeys Hanna-Barbera then?
No, I don't think they were. I think they were the same as the Archies, which was another animation company. Oh no, so you're talking about live action monkeys? No,
yeah.
that was just NBC. Who of course own
Universal.
Oh yeah. See how we go round and like yeah.
I know, it all links up.
Vodka's gone right to my head.
Oof. Chris, did you go on it?
No, I didn't.
Is that because you were too cool for school?
Yeah, I was going to say you were probably too cool to go now. I was just a baby, so I liked it.
I think every time we went to it, the queues were really long because it's right by the entrance to the park.
I feel like that's for every version of it, of the ride since it's been there. I think it's always got the biggest queue in the park. Because it is the first thing.
They've definitely had the money's worth out of the ride, though, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, they can just keep changing it. They'll change it again when Despicable Me is not a cool thing anymore, and all they'll have to do is change the video.
Yeah.
They were thinking cleverly. But if we come out of that, and then we go a little bit more left, we're going to come to Nickelodeon Studios.
Now, I remember this because we acted. We were in the audience for the Gunge thing. Can't remember what it was called. But then we were asked to be extras in a kids' high school type TV show. And we were standing in the corridor.
Well, and you're 33 at this point. I mean, what's...
To be fair, if you think about most American programs set in schools.
No, I was 19. So I was like...
It's prime.
Yeah, I was in my prime.
Yeah, but if you think about it, like if you watch things like Saved by the Bell, they were all in their like late 20s.
Yeah.
Playing 15-year-olds.
So as an extra, we got a certificate. We had to stand there for about 3 hours pointing at some notice on a notice board while the actors walked past us.
What?
We now have to briefly interrupt the podcast to have a few words from our sponsors.
Hey, Dis After Dark listeners. I want to invite you all to join us over on ScareZone, Halloween Horror Nights podcast. ScareZone is a news, interview, history, and commentary podcast all about Universal's premier Halloween event. It's hosted by fans and experts like me, Logan Seculo, former WWE superstar Scotty 2 Hottie, and Dis After Dark's own Chris Ripley. Subscribe however you get podcasts and head over to ScareZone.com for more information. We here at the show are proud supporters of Dis After Dark. And remember, keep your eyes closed and your ears open on ScareZone.
Right, so it's time to talk about the other sponsor we have for the After Dark Podcast Network. And gents, if you were thinking, as you have done previously and you will do again, if you was thinking about booking a trip to one of the parks that we've talked about, who would you think of asking or at least approaching?
Well, there's only one name that springs to mind only.
Wendy. So Wendy's so famous, she's only got one name like Madonna or Cher. Well, it's not actually true. She has two because she's got a surname as well, which is Prater. So of course, Wendy Prater at Magical Journeys Travels. We're so well prepared with this. It's like we've been practicing all day, finishing off each other's
sentences.
Sandwiches. Oh, for God's sake! This is totally unorganised. But we may be unorganised, but Wendy is not.
Oh, smooth.
You see, that's
I love how you did that.
That's what she's there for.
I'm a big fan of your work.
Oh well, we're a big fan of Wendy's work, which is the point. More than that. Whether you've been to Disney 1 or 100 times, there's still lots of planning involved, and I think we can all attest to that.
Yep, and the burgers are good as well.
They are. They are. And of course, now with Magic Bands, everything else is even more complex. I mean, geez, the last time I went, it was much easier than it is nowadays. So, Wendy can be the person to take away that pain of getting a reservation for Be Our Guest, where friend of the show, that Florida guy, just tried the grey stuff.
Yeah.
Hasn't reported back yet as to what it tasted like. And, you could try and get a fast pass for Anna and Elsa. Now, if us mere muggles or mortals tried to get a fast pass for Be Our Guest or Anna and Elsa meet and greets, how successful do you think we would be?
Well, I've already failed. I didn't get an EDR for Be Our Guest.
See?
So I wish I'd gone to Wendy for that one.
Wendy, not just the home of good burgers, but the home of good travel planning. So visit Wendy at wpmagicjourneys.com, or you can contact her on Twitter at wpmagicjourneys. And of course, if you mention that you heard one of our amazing podcasts, and that's how you got to hear of Wendy, she'll give you $25 off your deposit for any trip package. And our own Mr. Ripley at the moment has been on one of the Disney cruises, and she's able to offer generous onboard credits for Disney Cruise Lines as well. Something to bear in mind. So if you are thinking of making a trip, before you go anywhere else, go and find Wendy Prater at Magical Journeys Travels. wpmagicjourneys.com.
Because if you don't, you'll feel like a prat.
And now, back to the show.
That's honestly be TV show thing.
Well, they used to film Keenan and Kel there, and Clarissa Explains It All, and all I ever wanted was to be an extra on Clarissa.
Oh, wow. Oh, hi, Sam.
It was like my dream.
Oh,
I could never do it.
I loved Clarissa Explains It All.
I did. But Ash was in that gun show.
Was she?
By the way, I don't think anyone gave Chris the respect he deserved then for doing a
Like
decent
one pass a pie
twang
over the head.
and saying hi Sam. That was like you just played audio from an episode of Clarissa Explains It All.
Yeah.
Bloody brilliant. You deserve more than that.
But
So,
that was a good time.
What's the slime show then? Because I mean, I know Nickelodeon did a lot of stuff with Gunge, but there wasn't many programs that I remember seeing that involved the Gunge.
It was like a live thing that they were doing. So I think it was like to have a whole live audience there, and then I don't think it was filmed for anything.
Right.
Oh.
It was just like an audience participation thing. So you'd go in and watch it, and then they pick the audience.
Like a bit like what's it called? American Idol, where you participated in a show, but it wasn't a proper show.
I think, yeah. I don't remember it being filmed, so I think that probably was.
And Who Wants to Be a Millionaire before that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the tram tour, can you remember anything about the Nickelodeon tram tour? I didn't know there was one.
It was the studio tram tour, and I don't remember much about it.
I never did it, but I've got a really good story about it.
Oh, everyone gather round. I love.
So the thing is, when I'm researching my Halloween Horror Nights book, I talk to these people that work for Universal for years, and then they sort of tell me stuff about things that happened at the park that's nothing to do with Halloween Horror Nights. So I sort of collect all these old stories. But anyway, they were filming not the first season, but like the second or the third season for just because they wanted to keep it a film studio, inverted commas, of SeaQuest DSV. Anyone remember SeaQuest?
I do indeed, yeah.
Now, the captain in that was I always get his name.
Schneider.
Roy Schneider. I always want to say Ron Schneider.
Tell him if you want. He might appreciate it, but
Yeah. But he in real life was like the grumpiest man ever. He wouldn't go on the Jaws ride. He wouldn't have his photo taken in the Amityville area. Anyway, his trailer was at the back of one of the sound stages closest to where he was filming, and it was right on the route where the trams used to run. And they had to time it. So when he was in his trailer between takes, they couldn't run trams past his trailer.
What?
Way.
Yeah. So there used to be like massive queues build up because they had to wait. Oh, Mr. Snyder's having his 12 o'clock, truffle shuffle. We better we better hold off with the trams. And then the queues just used to build up.
How weird.
Yeah.
That's boss, that, isn't it?
But I never went on it, so I don't know anything about it really.
I don't know if I went on it. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to look through my videos, but I just don't remember anything about it really.
It didn't last very long, did it?
No.
I think it was like the first attraction they got rid of.
I think so. But if we come out of there and we head back towards where we just were at Hitchcock and we go to our right again, then we had Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote. Murder, She Wrote. I'm assuming that wasn't based on the Chakademus and Pliers song.
No.
Oh.
No.
Chakademus and Pliers did a song about Murder, She Wrote.
Well, I mean, if you read the lyrics, I don't think they're talking about Jessica Fletcher.
Oh, okay. Right, well, I've got no recollection of this.
I have got this on my video, and it's very similar to what the Hitchcock attraction was, really.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember this being the theme tune.
Yeah, no, it was.
Not the theme tune.
Her bitch is like a bunch of roses. If I ever tell you about Maxine, you would say I don't know what I know, but
Murder, She Wrote.
I can just see Angela Lansbury doing her rocking to that.
She normally does that as a medley with Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, she normally does that, and then like halfway, break down, and then jumps into
Tale as old as time.
And then she's twerking and keeps talking about Mandem for no reason whatsoever. She loves Mandem.
Well, anyway, this was... It kind of showed you how they do the effects to make the show and makeup and sound and things like that. Then they changed this to the Hercules and Xena show, which my mum and dad were both in.
Wow.
Yeah. My dad was some kind of demon thing, and my mum was a
Full princess?
No. What do you call some, like, when it's like a half a horse and half a human?
A what? Sorry,
a freak.
Which half was she?
A centaur.
Centaur.
Yeah,
Was
that's
she
what
the
she was
horse
in it.
half or the human half?
She was the human half. So they showed you how they do like green screens and CGI and things like that. But now that's Transformers.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a story about that.
Oh, come on, I love it.
You know what? That's the catchphrase of the show.
This is the best show ever.
Oh, that's our Jim Hill catchphrase.
Well,
We need some t-shirts printed.
Nick, that's your job.
Patreon.
Okay, tell us your story.
Tell us the story,
All I'm
Jack and
gonna say
Ori.
it's only short. Is that building after it was Hercules was empty for a long time, and it had structural issues, and they fixed the issues, and then they built a whole haunted house in there to use it for Halloween Horror Nights. And it was quite a big house. And then over in California, they said, "Look, we found some money under the sofa. We're behind with Harry Potter. Here, have a Transformers." So in like the August or the September, they then knocked the soundstage down with the haunted house still inside and built Transformers.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so that year we were one house short at Halloween Horror Nights because it had been demolished.
Annoying.
They put Transformers up in about 20 minutes, if I remember rightly.
They did, yeah, because it was literally, they built it. Where else have they got it? The other parks. They got it in Hollywood, haven't they?
Yeah.
And somewhere, which other one they got it
in? Shanghai Disney.
One of the action parks.
Universal Shanghai.
Yeah.
Dubai Land.
One of them.
Most professional Universal podcast on the planet.
I think we should play a game, not on this show, because we've got an actual topic here, but I think we should
Dead
have a
Wrestlers.
game where we... how do you remake an animated corpse? No. I can't even get that out right. God, that beer has come to me. No, I think we should have a game where what we do is we say something, make up some really elaborate story, like, I don't know, getting pissed on by a lion at London Zoo, and then Chris goes, I've got a story about that. Just to see if there's anything that we can come up with that Chris doesn't actually have a story for.
I'd try me.
No, not now. No, this show we've got a topic.
Okay.
But we'll have that for future shows.
We'll record another one afterwards.
The thing is, though, we're literally making history. We've got the son of Jim Hill amongst us. Well.
Oh, it's like a barbershop quartet.
Yeah, the only difference is I don't make up stuff.
Oh. Well. Okay, so no one can remember Murder, She Wrote.
Other than Chuck a Dick's Liars song.
Yeah. What about The Adventures of Bullwinkle?
I don't remember anything about this.
Was this a stage show? Was this a stage show?
No.
It was.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, because it got taken out in 1993.
Oh.
So that's why none of us know what it is. Didn't last very long.
Let's jump across then to Ghostbusters.
Okay, this makes me excited. So this is where Twister was and where Jimmy Fallon is now. So this was a Ghostbusters show. And Chris, I feel like you remember the most about this.
Well, I remember doing it at least twice, but I don't remember it, if that makes sense.
I only remember it from my videos. Like, I don't remember it from real life. I
remember it being a bit disappointing as a kid, but then also I remember how crap Twister was, so then I wish they kept Ghostbusters.
Oh, so hang on, so you weren't happy with the Ghostbusters show?
Well, the problem was you sat in this theatre that was really long.
It was a very long, narrow theatre, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you had the glass screen, didn't you? And they was behind the glass screen on a stage battling ghosts, and the ghosts were like Pepper's ghost appearing on the screen, but their guns were all in the wrong place all the time. So the streams were coming out of like their chest rather than out the nozzle of the gun.
Because wasn't the streams coming out on the glass as well as the ghosts?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I must have sat somewhere else in there, like, and got it good. You know, like where you sit in the wrong seat.
Yeah.
I think I was sitting in the right seat because I remember it being pretty brilliant, to be honest.
I remember being down the end.
It had a massive Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, didn't it?
Yeah.
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 I went into, on a side note, Home Bargains today, which is a shop in England, and they had packets of, for 39p, Stay Puft Marshmallows.
What?
With the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on them. Which I'm guessing was a tie-in to last year's Ghostbusters reboot. Has anyone watched that, by the way?
No.
Yes.
I've watched the first 10 minutes.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
My
I thought it was
girls
okay.
loved it. I haven't just had the time. That's all.
Yeah, I was expecting to hate it. I actually really thought it was good. I don't know why everyone hates women.
I love women.
I've heard that's really good.
Yeah. But no, a lot of people hated it, but they're idiots. And before it changed to Twister, did it not become Extreme Ghostbusters?
Or the real Ghostbusters.
No,
I think they had an outdoor show down by the New York Library.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, because I remember hearing about something like that. But because
Yeah,
Extreme
I posted a
Ghostbusters
video about that.
Okay, because Extreme Ghostbusters was a crappy reboot of Ghostbusters with new characters.
Yeah, well, this was called Extreme Ghostbusters: The Fright Way, and they like lip synced to songs out on the library steps with Beetlejuice.
Was one of them in a wheelchair?
No.
Well, then that's stupid, because the selling point of that cartoon was that one of the Ghostbusters was in a wheelchair.
Well, he
but
couldn't
the
be in
New
a
York-
wheelchair while he's dancing.
Yeah, the New York Library's got steps up to it.
Yeah. So they're like prancing around on the steps. He couldn't be in a wheelchair.
Well, hang on a second. So what? Because it wasn't wheelchair accessible.
Yes.
They're like, let's get rid of the disabled bloke.
Yes, Universal discriminated against the disabled Ghostbuster.
Do you remember? Like, there was, for some reason in the 90s, or around about the time that we're talking about right now, the world was going through a thing where everything needs to have a wheelchair-based character. There was Extreme Ghostbusters. There was Wheels out of the Burger King Kids Club.
No, I don't remember any of this.
It's too old, Craig.
Well, I'd have been working. Yeah, at this point.
Professor Stephen Hawking. I've got his Simpson action figure, you know.
That's rare, isn't it, that one?
It probably is nowadays. Yeah. Had a helicopter and everything. Anyway, Ghostbusters. Had a really good Stay Puft Marshmallow Man effect, I thought.
And some of that Stay Puft Marshmallow Man still exists, doesn't it, somewhere? The structure that they use to hold it up is still in Fallon.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah, they kept it. They kept it for Twister. It was the sign that fell down.
Oh.
The structure was because the structure was so big they couldn't take it out, so it's had to stay there.
So there you go.
So what is it now in Fallon?
They might have got rid of it by now. I think it's gone now, but it was definitely in there. And hasn't Logan Seklo got something to do with the Stay Puft? Hasn't he got his hand?
Is it?
Oh, he's got all sorts of stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's off the movie though, not off the show, off the real movie.
That's pretty cool.
No, you know what? And I'm not Logan. If you're listening, you probably got more important things to listen to. But if you are listening, I'm not saying you haven't got it, but you know, surely anyone could just get a few marshmallows, mush them up, make them a bit soggy so they stick together, and say it's Stay Puft's hand. Look, you know, that's just throwing it out there.
Quite often there'll be stuff for sale online, like I don't know, a used thong from Mad Max or something, and he'll message me and go, "Look at this, shall I buy it?" I'm like, "Really? Oh yeah, you're right."
I had this is a true story, apparently.
Is it?
My friend, I did have a friend once. My friend bought from a shop that sold merchandise. He bought the Pizza Hut wrapper from
Elvis.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future Part 2, right? Paid a couple of £100 for it. He gave it to his girlfriend who worked at, I think it was Boots or somewhere like that, to get it framed for him, and she left it on the bus.
No.
Oh.
Now, I've seen replicas of the Pizza Hut wrapper, so I'm assuming what he bought was not the real deal because he bought it in the UK, and it was quite cheap. But even so, he thought for years that he had bought the authentic one, and she'd left it on a bus and lost it.
Well, that's not good.
that's pretty heartbreaking, whether it was real or not. The story is real. I don't know about the authenticity of the actual item.
Well, on that note, let's move across to confrontation.
Now, I've got very good memories of this ride.
Yes, this ride I was terrified of it and loved it equally.
Because how big were you?
In 1993, I obviously couldn't go on it, but throughout the rest of the 90s, I could. And it was just, like, obviously, I'm still tiny now, but I obviously would have been even tinier back then. And this gigantic King Kong is grabbing the tram and shaking it, and I'm like, I'm going to die.
How can you take this ride? I mean, the Mummy is a good coaster, but Kong, it's just so, isn't it?
It's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
I've talked about it so many times about my heartbreak, because that was the first. It's one of my earliest memories of seeing an advert for Universal Studios on telly, and obviously the main focus for all their adverts in the early 90s, pretty much at least, was Kong. He was at the centre of most of their press, and I remember seeing that and thinking, I can only dream that one day I can see that for myself. I've been obsessed with Kong ever since, and yet I never managed to get there.
So sad.
Just devastated. And then
Then I looked into booking to go to Hollywood, because they obviously still had their version of it, which was a much smaller version, like length of the ride, and then it burnt down. Well, where Jaws didn't work, Kong did work.
It did, yeah.
Well, most of the time.
Well, I went on it in 93, and it was gone by 2001, I think, when I went back. I always say this, but it was definitely gone.
I think it went in, if I remember rightly, I'm sure it was 2002 or 2003, and I think The Mummy came out in 2004.
No, I don't.
One of us could actually look this up, but who wants to be right about anything?
I'm fairly sure it took a long time to rip it out and build The Mummy, so...
I can remember being there in 2001 and seeing a London bus and loads of mummies all stuck to the side of the building.
Okay, yeah, that was outside the horror makeup show.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It closed in 2002, you're right, Nick.
Because I know The Mummy, because that what you're talking about there, Craig, would be The Mummy Returns, which would have come out about 2001.
So I did, because we've got pictures in the loft. We're going to get them out of us in Kong's fist.
Yes, of course. You were talking about that on the last episode, and I was going to ask you about that, because when you were talking about what year you thought that was, I thought Kong was still open at that time. So that would probably be correct then, and that's why Kong's hand was still there. Because was that in what's now the shop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get why something. Well, you know what? I don't know people at Universal, but I would imagine that's probably something that they've regretted ever since. Because as great as The Mummy is, they could have built a new building for that.
I'll tell you why, and it's the same reason that Jaws went. Was Jaws and King Kong cost an absolute fortune to maintain, and that's why they were on the chopping block.
It was the biggest animatronic in the world, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The tallest, at least. I think the longest is the dragon at Disneyland Paris, but certainly the tallest.
But how can you compare the new Kong ride with that old classic ride?
That's what you can't.
You can't, can you? The classic ride, in my opinion, is far better than the new one.
It
far better and totally different, like totally different types of rides. So I feel like you could never compare them.
It didn't have a chance to become a classic ride, though, did it?
No.
93 to 2002.
No, 1990.
Oh, God, okay, 1990.
It was an open day attraction.
It's still not a long time, is it? 13 years. They're not even getting the money back on that investment at that point.
Well, we've got our memories of it.
Yeah.
And there is, there are some great videos of it. I mean, people were able to get some cracking videos of Kong.
Also, I never got to do it, but the New York sets, were so detailed that they actually used them as a Halloween Horror Nights house one year.
No way.
So you could walk through the streets with the huge Kong standing above you.
That literally would have terrified the life out of me.
Yeah, supposedly that they got so wrecked, it cost such a fortune to put them all back together again that they didn't ever do that again. For 1 year only, you could have walked through.
Imagine if they'd have put a Kong dong on them as well.
So just for people that go on that ride then, so could you look down when you're on the tram and you could see the streets below?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was mental.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Wasn't there a fog scene?
There's fire.
Was it fire, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, dry ice from fire.
Yeah.
I've just gone and seen Kong Island, and thought it was really good, but it would have made more sense now because that Kong in Kong Island is really big, and so it probably, I mean, I know that the Kong's supposed to be like movie size or whatever, but it probably would have made even more sense now had they kept that attraction with the size of Kong.
Well, apparently in Madame Tussauds in London, they've got a whole bunch of Kong stuff in there now.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
James Michael already told me the other day.
I remember going to there used to be a museum in London called the Museum of the Moving Image, which was all about films, and I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. And they had the original, or one of the original models of Kong from the 1933 version.
Wow.
And it was so small because obviously it was, it was animated, and was in surprisingly good condition for saying it was about 70 years old at the time. It wasn't that moth-eaten, but you could love going there and seeing that.
That museum's gone now, hasn't it?
It closed in 98, 99 and was closing for a refurbishment and never reopened.
What was the one that was above where they moved the London Dungeon to? Where the aquarium is?
There's been loads of stuff in there.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a revolving one. It's Shrek now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's where
Shrek now,
yeah.
I went to a Star Wars exhibition in there.
It was a film museum for a little bit, but it wasn't the same as Mommy apparently, but I never went.
But I think that had the Kong in it.
Oh, okay. So maybe it had some.
So I wondered if it took some of the artifacts from that museum that you're on about.
Possibly, because when I last went, before it closed down, they had an exhibition of the Iron Giant, because that was just about to come out.
Oh, right.
So I remember seeing stuff about that and getting quite excited. So yeah, it must have been about 98 or 99 it closed.
But do you also not think it's weird that in the whole of London there is no Alfred Hitchcock museum?
Yeah,
that is weird.
Is there?
There's nothing. There's honestly nothing. There's a statue near a block of flats in the west part of London.
Well, there's a plaque, isn't there, where he used to live in Leytonstone?
Yeah, but there's no actual museum.
We don't.
I think we're missing a touch there.
Yeah, we don't have much stuff like that in England anymore. Like we have the big museums, like the Science Museum and Natural History, but we don't have anything.
No.
A very small one about film in Covent Garden, which isn't very good.
No, that's all Bond cars now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they've taken all the film stuff out and filled it full of Aston Martins and Land Rovers.
So it's just like a car showroom then?
Yeah, pretty much.
There is a Museum of the Moving Image in New York, apparently.
Oh.
But it's not the same.
No.
Anyway, we got waylaid from crying about Kong closing down.
We're only quarter of the way around the park.
Oh, God.
Well, there's less attractions the further we get around because it was the 90s. So the next one up is Beetlejuice's Graveyard Review.
This lasted ever.
I loved every iteration of this that they ever produced. It was cheesy, and it just killed half an hour. It got you out, got you a little blow, and I thought it was brilliant.
the 90s version was my favourite ever. Like, the costumes that they had, the Dracula. The Dracula was my first ever crush.
First ever
From the long
crush?
hair. Yeah.
Wasn't that James Keaton, the Dracula?
I mean, I don't know. It could have been.
So your first ever crush was Jack the Clown?
Yeah.
Every time James Keaton plays someone different in the parks, it was a crush for you.
I think, yeah.
Probably.
So it's James Keaton. Anyway, the 90s version was my favourite. I loved Bride of Frankenstein. I loved her little costume that she had. Because they all started off in their actual monster costumes, and then they all ripped them off in a big cloud of smoke and had rock costumes, and they were awesome.
And the playlist back then, it obviously evolved over the years, but was it classic rock?
It was classic rock, so
it was never
like,
90s cheese.
No, but then it kind of evolved into like pop music in the end. But the 90s and early 2000s versions are my favourites.
Such a shame.
I know. I love everything about Beetlejuice. So I'm really sad that this is gone. I'd still prefer to have this over Fast and Furious, but I get that times move on.
Hang on, is that so? Where Beetlejuice was, that's where Fast and Furious is going.
Yeah,
it's going there, and where Earthquake was, which is up next. So that whole entire area.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I thought that's where Earthquake. It was replacing Earthquake. I didn't realise that as well. Wow. So does that mean that we're not going to get the crappy Hollywood version?
I hope not. It is absolutely awful.
With the cardboard cutout actors.
Yeah, I heard something today that they've changed the plans and it won't be the one from Hollywood.
Thank God for that.
Well, I was wondering because it was supposed to open this year and then they added another year onto it, so I kind of guessed that they weren't going to go the Hollywood way and they were going to do something totally new. But who knows?
I think they shouldn't bother doing it. Just bring back Jaws.
Bring back Earthquake.
I actually, right, so we talked about Beetlejuice. I liked Beetlejuice. I saw it in 2007, 2010. I don't think there was much difference between the two at that time, but I enjoyed both of them. And I also liked it was being used, must have been 2010. 2010 was the 20th anniversary of Halloween Horror Nights, wasn't it? So that year they used the Beetlejuice stage for Brian Brushwood. Was that his name?
Yep, yeah, the magician bloke.
Yeah, and I saw one of the shows. I can't remember was it Fire and Ice or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
There was two different shows. We saw one of them, and that was pretty fun. But I loved that whole arena. I thought that was quite a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I actually liked Earthquake. I wasn't that bothered by Disaster, which, considering it was the same attraction, is a bit stupid to say. But I liked it as Earthquake.
I loved Earthquake. My mum and dad were in this too. In the pre-show.
Oh.
I used to just basically volunteer them for everything when I was little. But I loved Earthquake.
Yeah, I did.
It was fantastic.
Because they had
and I was terrified of that too.
Didn't he have the green screen and everything? And didn't he pretend to drop one of the people?
Yeah.
And it was a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it.
It was awesome. So good. But I wasn't really big into Disaster either. I just didn't like the storyline of Disaster, really.
Yeah, it's quite funny because I like Christopher Walken, but it just felt a bit flat.
No, that whole scene was groundbreaking. Him interacting with a real life human.
That was good. But I just didn't like just the way that the storyline was.
It wasn't groundbreaking though, Craig. Didn't they pull the same stunt with Rock and Roller Coaster? I thought I thought that at times they'd actually have an actor interacting with Aerosmith.
I didn't think so. I haven't seen it.
That's an interesting. If anyone out there has got any proof.
Effect.
Yeah, you're filled with Mandela effects today.
Mandela effects after dark.
Yeah, that's what this is. But if we move on from Earthquake, then we're going to go to everybody's favourite, Jaws.
Dun-na, dun-na. Isn't it funny how, and maybe it's because I never got to go on Kong, that I don't feel as sad that Jaws has gone as I do about Kong, and yet I loved Jaws. I really did love Jaws.
Jaws was the best thing that I've ever done. I loved Jaws.
Is it not just rose-tinted?
No.
No.
It was fantastic.
That was the best attraction ever made, period.
Ever.
It was good.
Best.
Out of 100?
100.
100.
Oh,
It's living forever.
73.
But in one of the Asian parks, Jaws still exists, the attraction, doesn't it?
Yeah, in Japan.
Japan, they've still got it there. They've not got rid of it. So.
Ah, Jaws!
Yeah, oh.
I would go just to go on it.
We should do a Dis After the Dark trip over there.
Okay, I'm down.
Can't even arrange one for Disneyland Paris. How do you think we're going to...
I'd rather
I can't even arrange one for the UK, let alone.
We could go over there with our sushi sticks and get stuck in and help them shut Jaws over there as well by eating it.
No.
We can join you at Shanghai and piss on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or in the bushes.
Anyway, Jaws was fantastic, and the
Or
whole
on Nick's pram.
area that was themed to be Amity was amazing.
Was it though?
Yes.
Wasn't it just fairground rides
No,
and a chippy?
it was Amity and funnel cakes.
And the toilet block is still there.
Yeah, they just painted it brown.
Mm.
I can remember buying popcorn there in a refillable bucket.
Right.
That's about it, really.
Was it Jaws shaped?
No, it was just bucket shaped. Don't get me wrong, right? Jaws was brilliant, but don't you think what you've got now is better?
Right. No.
No.
The biggest shopping centre in Universal, as you've called
Exactly.
It
you
is,
called it that
yeah.
yourself.
I love Diagon Alley very, very, very much. I really do love it, but I definitely prefer Jaws.
Jaws was miles better.
You couldn't walk around Jaws. You can walk around Diagon Alley. You had to sit round Jaws.
You could walk around Amity.
But it was just like throw the balloon through the hoops and through the and
No,
win a
it was
Mars
like
bar.
being really in Jaws. I loved it.
They had the real boat from Jaws there as well.
They had Brucey the shark where he's supposed to
Bruce. Yeah.
Oh, Bruce.
I've got a cracking picture of me old Nag Grace with when she's a baby stuck in Jaws' head.
be. Share it.
I'll find it.
Isn't it stupid though, right? I mean, I've shared my picture of me and Bruce before with me sticking my head in his mouth. But even though I knew it wasn't an animatronic, there was still a bit of apprehension of me sticking my head in his mouth. That's how much of the fear Jaws gives, but you know, as someone who liked the film, that even though I know it's a fake shark that's not going to move, still apprehension getting that close to it.
Do you know, true story, that was the first horror film I ever saw. And that ride, when I was, 10, terrified me then.
It was a very scary ride. When you got into the boathouse,
Yeah.
so scary.
I love it. So basically, you're turning around and saying, when you were 10, you went on Jaws and it scared you.
Yeah.
And my story on another podcast was, when I was 9, Snow White's adventure at Disneyland Paris scared me. It's not exactly the same, is it? It's not exactly the same calibre.
Fair enough.
Nick and his knickers.
But at the same time, let's not forget that the same ride in Disney World was called Snow White's Scary Adventure.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, at least Chris didn't get pissed on by a shark.
that he knows of. He might have locked that memory away.
Oh, God. Anyway, if you didn't ever get a chance to go on Jaws, anyone that's listening, go on YouTube and look at a video, because honestly, it was the best, and everybody agrees that it's the best.
Oh, I don't.
Craig disagrees with everything that I say,
Podcast to have a
and then agrees 5 minutes later.
Oh, we haven't even got to the best one yet.
I know.
Hey, Dis After Dark
So,
listeners, I
with
wanna
Motor
invite you all
Jaws,
to
if we
join us
look
over on
into the
ScareZone,
lagoon, they
Halloween
used to have a
Horror
show on the lagoon.
ScareZone is a news interview.
So it's called the
history and commentary
Dynamite
podcast
Nights
all about
Stunt Spectacular.
Universal's premier Halloween event. Hosted by fans
Was
and
it
experts
Miami
like me,
Vice?
Logan Sekulow, former WWE superstar Scotty 2 Hottie, and Dis After Dark's own Chris Ripple.
I think they had that in Hollywood.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
Hollywood.
where Waterworld was.
For more information,
Yeah.
we here at the show are proud supporters of Dis
Well, this is
After
probably
Dark.
very similar. It was basically people on jet skis doing stunts and pretending to, I think, shoot at each other.
Right, so it's time to talk about
It was a bit
the
too,
other sponsor we have,
Like, I was very
After Dark
girly when I was
Podcast
little,
Network.
so
And
Aren't you
Right.
very girly now?
if
No.
you were thinking, as you have
No, I'm not
done
very girly at
previously,
all.
you will do again. If you were
sit on this
thinking
podcast
about,
every week drinking Bud Light.
booking a trip to one of the parks that we've talked about,
So if we come
Who
out
do
of
you
the
think
Stunt Spectacular show,
of asking,
we've
or
got
at least
what
approaching.
is now Fear Factor was
it's
the
only
Wild,
Wendy.
Wild,
One name
Wild
that springs to
West
mind only.
Stunt Show.
I think you missed a
Wendy.
wild out there.
So Wendy's so famous, she's only
No,
got one
just
name
free.
like Madonna
Just free.
or Cher.
So
Well, it's not
that's
actually
what
no
it
memory.
says written. It was a stunt show
She's got a
set in
surname.
the Wild, Wild, Wild
So,
West.
of course,
Oh,
Wendy
hang on.
Fraser
I'm just going to pause
at
it 1 second.
Magical
Craig, you need to sing
Journey
that straight
Travel.
into the show notes.
We're so well prepared with this. It's like
Craig,
practicing
Craig
the
just
day,
shared a
getting off
picture of
each
him
other's
dressed as Miami Vice.
Sentences.
sandwiches. For God's sake.
Wearing
Totally
I don't know whose dad's suit.
But we may be
That was
unorganised,
from
but
Bairns,
Wendy is
Was
not.
it?
Shit the bed. You look
See?
like a detective,
That's
Stuart.
That's what she's there for.
I'm a big fan of your work.
Well, we're a big
Blabby
fan of
cock.
Wendy's work.
Fantastic.
I got
Which
that
is-
shirt
which is
from
the
St.
point,
John's
more than
Market.
Did ya?
We've been to
Silk.
Disney 1 or 100 times.
Blimey.
There's still lots of planning involved, and I think
That's hilarious. Anyway, did anyone see the stunt show?
Yes.
The burgers are good as
Did you
well.
like it?
they are.
Yeah, it was all right.
Oh.
I like the Wild
And of
West. I
course,
never
now
liked the
with
Fear
Magic
Factor
Bands,
thing.
everything else is even
Yeah,
more
I'd
complex. I mean,
take this
geez,
back
the
over
last
Fear
time I went,
Factor.
it was much easier
100%.
than it is now.
Yeah.
So
Is it?
Did you
is
see it,
your
Craig?
Fear Factor? Is it
Wendy
animal
be the person to take
stunt
away
show
the
thing
pain
now?
of getting
I
And
didn't
that's,
see
that's
it.
further
be our
along.
guest.
Oh, sorry.
Where
Shut
friend
up.
of the show.
If it did see it, I've got no
Already just
recollection
tried
of
to
it.
play stuff.
Fear Factor's never open.
Hasn't reported
No.
back yet as to what it tasted like.
Literally, I've never
and,
seen it open.
You know,
No, I think
try and get fast
the
off
3
the
weeks that I've spent
Now,
out in
if
Orlando,
us
I've never
mere,
seen it open.
Muggles or mortals.
Well, now
trying
in
to get a
September and
fast
October
pass
time, it's
for
obviously the
Be
Bill
Our
and Ted
Guest
show.
Or Anna and Elsa
Yeah,
meet
so at
and
least there's a proper
greets.
use for it.
How successful do
Yeah.
you think we would be?
Yeah. But throughout the
I've
rest of the year,
already
I've seen people post videos in it throughout the rest of the year. But
See,
obviously, because we do go in September and October now, I never get to see it.
Wendy.
But
Not
I'll let you know
just
in
the
May.
home of good burgers, but the home of
I might
good
go on it.
travel planning.
So
Visit Wendy. At
They wouldn't take me. You have to be like a certain weight and a certain
or
height
you
to
can
do
contact her on
the
Twitter
tasks.
at WP Magic Journeys. And of
Because you have to
course,
like dangle
if
from
you
things.
mention that you
Put spiders
heard
in your hands
one
and
of
stuff,
our
don't they?
amazing podcasts.
And one bit they
and
do, but
that's
then
how
the other
got
bit you have to
to
like.
hear of Wendy.
It's like an endurance test thing.
$25 off
You have to drink
deposit for
Pepsi Cherry Max.
And our own Mrs.
Cherry
Wendy
Pepsi Max.
went on a Disney cruise.
With Diet Coke mixed
and
in.
she was able to offer
God.
generous on-board
I was
So,
gonna
credits.
say,
if we
as long
cross
as
the
Craig's not wearing
bridge-
his shorts.
Lines as well.
If we cross the bridge, we'll get
Something to
to
bear in mind.
the other best
So, if
attraction
you
that
are thinking
Universal
The
had,
greatest attraction that
you
they
know,
had.
making a trip,
Back to the Future.
before you go anywhere else, go and find Wendy Pratt at Magical Journeys.
I loved everything about this.
Yes, I agree.
It was because, don't
Feel like
forget,
Pratt.
Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3 had come out in 90 and 91, I believe. Something like that. So it was fresh, it was right in there. The only ride that would have been better than this was a Gremlins ride, and they never made one of them.
Yes, they did. True story.
No way.
I chose to I chose to go and see Dick Tracy over Back to the Future 3, and I still agree that that was the right choice to make back in 1990.
You're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
There's a Gremlins.
You're wrong.
There was a fine. Dick Tracy, for God's sake. He's got Dick in the title. I believe, Craig,
that's at least Saturday night. There
was at least 2 Gremlins attractions. One of those would have been in Warner Brothers World, Germany, and the other one was in Warner Brothers Australia.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What was the ride about? What did you do? Was it a ride or was it a show?
I think it was a dark ride.
So you spill water on them?
Yeah.
Feed them after midnight.
Yeah, no, honestly, I'm almost certain that was the ride. I'm sure I've seen a video of it.
The Gremlins house in Hollywood is still standing. I've walked through it.
No way.
Yeah, it's still there.
I was waiting for the Christopher Ripley true story then. And he didn't disappoint.
You got a small one.
Well, Chris, come on. I think there's no need to get personal, mate. We're all friends here.
Oh, God.
Penis joke.
We love the theatre.
And we've not even met each other. This is it's all on Skype. Chris got that all from Skype.
That's true. It's true. Although,
he did miss Nick's video earlier.
Yeah, there was some penis action earlier, but Chris was too late for the party.
He was like the white Adam Sultana. Well, Adam Sultana is obviously black, and he's on Grim Grin and Gaze, and he constantly is showing them his knob while he's recording Skype, and that's what Nick did.
Yeah. That's why
you should do a duet. I'm calling you 2 bitches out. You made me dance like a fucking monkey, Adam Sultana. I want Nick and Adam to sing a duet, and I want you to do Paradise by the Dashboard Light, you pair of bitches.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't. No idea what that is.
Fuck off. What?
Oh, sorry. So somebody that's never seen a Hitchcock film is telling me that I should know some crappy 80s song that you just made up.
Bat out of hell, Meatloaf.
Yeah, like this isn't made up.
You just said, that's what you said. What did you just say?
Nick, don't be dissing Meatloaf.
Yeah.
You just said, so you said Paradise what?
By the
Dashboard Light.
It's a classic.
But I won't take that
away from you. Let's just make up a song.
Let's not do that. So Back to the Future. Now,
Back to the Future.
I went to Universal for the first time in the year 2007, and I missed Back to the Future by 3 months.
Oh, Nick, you are.
You have the worst luck.
You're like a fucking Jonah.
No, it's okay. It's okay
well, I
because
stepped off the plane and the world ended.
It's okay because instead I can't even think of a lame attraction, so I've gone on Twister. I didn't get to go on Back to the Future, but I did buy when it was the 20th. No, it was the 20th. Hang on,
21st.
No, 30th anniversary of Back to the Future. No, 25th anniversary. I bought a box set, and the box set contained all of the ride. Now, when I say all of the ride, I don't just mean the ride video that you all saw. I mean it had the queue ride footage as well, all of it.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it lasts about half an hour.
YouTube, surely.
Probably, but it lasts about half an hour. Probably. So although I never got to go on the attraction, what I did do was watch it on a large screen in my living room while moving
he built
about.
a DeLorean.
Just while moving about on the chair in time to the video.
With a blanket.
With a flux capacitor stapled to me head.
You know what? It's quite funny actually about the year 1993 because I remember being at school and a kid. It was after summer holidays, and this kid said, "I went to America and I saw Jurassic Park and Last Action Hero and Hocus Pocus and I went to this park, and there was these rides of Back to the Future, and I went, "You are talking crap, mate. What the hell?" And he came in and he brought me a map of Universal Studios Florida and showed me all of these
I was
rides.
born next love of theme parks.
I thought he was going to say you went to a park and got bundled into a van or something.
Not at that time.
True story.
True story. I've got a story about that.
True story, Chris did.
Well, absolutely.
Adam Sultana did. Didn't you, Adam? Yes, Adam. I'm talking to you, Adam.
Explains a lot.
That's why all the Grim Grinning Gays ended up in Orlando last week.
That is true. So the thing is, right, everyone has a lot of love for Back to the Future, the attraction. Right?
Yeah.
No one has any love for The Simpsons. Now,
No.
I went on The Simpsons in 2010 when I went back the second time, and I really enjoyed it. Now, what I'm hearing now is that people say that the footage is looking old, that they use, it's a little bit out of focus, and that's why it's making people nauseous. Is that it for everyone, or do people just not like the attraction when it was in a good state?
I don't like anything about it.
Rubbish. I slipped 2 discs last year, and I think I slipped one of them because of the Simpsons ride.
Wow.
Where were your discs? Next to each other?
Yeah.
Oh, poor man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's when I wrote the Monsters book.
Just lying on the floor.
Yeah, lying on the bed with a laptop on my chest.
I think that the Simpsons ride is horrific, but the area around it is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's the one thing that Back to the Future didn't have, wasn't it? Was it for I was going to say for obvious reasons, but actually not really obvious reasons. There was nothing around it. Like, had they made a little Hill Valley type area, that would have been really
fun enough.
But
that would have been amazing.
Well, imagine doing a futuristic Hill Valley where you could go in and get saved by a robot and all that.
Michael Jackson's Max Headroom.
Yeah.
Pepsi. I mean, do you think? I mean, with Amanda, I think it was a great idea for this show to take a virtual walk around Universal. Do you think there's any legs in having a theme park made up of extinct rides?
100%, yeah.
No, I don't, because
it's called the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, my testicles!
Lee Malaby's just spat his tea out all over.
Spat something out, maybe. Not sure about tea.
Yeah, I think you might have so much spat out elsewhere.
If you got out your gaming console now and put on Monty Mole or Jet Set Willy or Chucky Egg, you've got amazing fond memories of them games from the 80s, or most of you have, right? The shite. Bullshine. Are you turning around and saying to me that if I come around to your house now, plugged in and like that NES thing that they released last Christmas, so you can play the original Super Mario Brothers game? It's shit. Super Mario Brothers original game is shite.
Shut up, Craig. You've never watched an Alfred Hitchcock film. Your opinion is fuck all.
Or Bond.
Sonic the Hedgehog is shite. You can buy Sonic the Hedgehog on your iPhone today.
No. Right, let's not talk about... Because, I mean, the thing is, when you're talking about playing these games on your iPhone or anything like that, you're not playing them with the proper controls. I've played Sonic the Hedgehog on an iPhone, and it's shit.
I've got an Apple TV 4th Gen. I've got the games controller. It's crap. It gives you 5 minutes.
Look at me, Craig. I've got loads of money and I can buy the Apple products. That doesn't matter. Go and get a Mega Drive, use a proper Mega Drive controller, and tell me it's still shit. It is not the same. This is what people don't understand when playing retro games. Play them in the right way, people.
So a retro theme park would be a disaster.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't be a disaster.
I reckon,
that'd be the first ride in there.
No, it'd be
I
It'll be
earthquake.
earthquake.
In the future, there will be one.
There has to be.
Someone will invent virtual reality technology like a hologram, like a holodeck, like in Star Trek, and it'll be just all old Universal attractions.
Well, I do think with what you can do with VR that we're probably about 5 years away from that technology.
I don't want a VR one. I want a real life one.
That's it. I mean, that's the thing. I think what Chris is saying is probably that there's probably a good chance that you could get away with doing something like that. But I think I'm with Amanda in that I don't want a virtual version of it. I want the real thing.
Yeah.
I suppose
They shouldn't have sold all their bloody property when they had no money and just kept it all.
But that's exactly what you were saying on Strike about Marvel. That's exactly what Marvel were doing. They were in a financial black hole, so it was like, let's sell everything.
I wasn't on strike.
I know you weren't on strike. I'm talking about P-dubs.
Oh, I thought you meant Jim Hill.
I was like, Chris, when we were on strike.
But the thing is, you know...
He's Jim Hill.
Son of Jim.
Obviously.
I'm Jimmy Hill.
Son of
That's it. You've given it away now.
But that's the thing. Like, the thing is, like, when Marvel were in that position, they sold all the rights to everything, which is why everything's so buggered up. You know, if they didn't decide to sell lifetime rights to Universal, we would have a Disney's Marvel Studios park right now under the Magic Kingdom, but we don't. Had Universal, and going back to Kong, if all Universal did was instead of going, we need to reuse this building, let's build another building instead, we'd still have Kong. I promise that if that had happened, if they didn't have to use that building to build the Mummy, Kong would still be there today.
So you're basically saying Stan Lee is a massive dickhead.
I wouldn't be the only person that said that.
Poor old Stan Lee, 92 years old.
Poor old Stan Lee.
He was
Stan
in that
Lee. Stan Lee, who invented every Marvel character ever, except he bloody well didn't. Yeah, poor Stan Lee.
Did you watch Lucky Man the other day?
No, but I did watch Mallrats, and he was good in Mallrats.
He was on Lucky Man on Sky One the other day.
Was he really?
He wrote it.
Well, yeah, I know it's one of the characters he's created for TV. And look, if you want to really look at Jim Lee, yeah, what's his name?
Stan Lee. So pissed by this point.
So many Jims. Stan Lee, right? Every character, Sam Lee's his brother. Every character that he co-created all these things, right? If you look at the actual characters he created himself, they're all shit. Every one of them is shit. Spider-Man, Jack Kirby, Fantastic Four, X-Men. His name's on them, but he didn't create them. He's just.
So what did he create then?
It's fucking Lucky Man. And some cartoon with tits with Pamela Anderson doing the voice of it. Like, his stuff's terrible. But Stan Lee's the figure, has always been like the vocal point of the company. I'm sure he's a lovely old man. I love his Marvel cameos, but let's be real. Anyway, the fact is, if Universal had not had to sell so many things and were running out of money and had to reuse things, I do think that we'd be in a better position with things like Jaws and King Kong. I even think Jaws may not have had to have gone. Really. I'm sure there was other land they could have used.
Maybe.
So, to you, Amanda, looking back at 1993 Universal, which also we didn't actually point out, 93 was the year that Jaws finally opened properly after being scrapped completely and started again. Would you have said that was one of your favourite, looking at all the attractions and everything that was on at the time, shows and all that, that was in your mind one of the greatest eras of Universal, or do you think it did a bit later on it might have been even better?
I feel like the 90s version of Universal was my favourite because I did love Jaws and Kong and Back to the Future so much, and I feel like now's it's a different kind now. So I think you can't really compare them because the attractions that they have are so different.
Well, there's a lot more screens for a start.
Well, like, really, that that's it. So you can't compare something like Transformers to something like Jaws because they're both very, very good rides, but they're very different.
I heard a rumour today that the new boat ride in the Avatar section of Animal Kingdom is all screens.
No.
Apart from like one or two animatronics.
There's one animatronic. That's it.
What?
One animatronic, all screens.
Well,
That's weird.
to be honest, the footage I saw like a little clip, and that clip was clearly like Kong. What is it called? What's the new version of Kong? It's not 360. That's the Hollywood version.
Reign of Kong.
Reign of Kong. So with that, where you have real set, like a real set, so you like some foliage or whatever, and a screen hidden within that foliage. And that's what Avatar looked like to me when I saw a clip of it, is that you could see all these fluorescent plants and stuff that were moving, but the actual creatures, as they were on a screen. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case.
So anyway,
you can't beat them.
Disney fans always go, Universal's full of screens. Well, actually, Disney's going to be full of screens.
They're just playing catch up.
That's
Well,
a backward step.
Anyway, next up was Animal Actors, but that's still there, so I don't think we need to talk about that.
And
But then,
when did T2 open? Was that 95?
huh?
T2.
Yeah, that's not here yet.
Okay.
Dun 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 dun.
I'm glad because I hate Terminator 2.
What?
What you talking about, Willis?
Seriously, all I found out about this show tonight is like horrible things about my heroes. Rick's not seen a Hitchcock film. Amanda doesn't like Terminator 2.
Soz, mate. I don't like it.
It's good.
It's not, but we're not up to that yet anyway.
Okay.
We're up to where we would have had the Psycho House.
Which they demolished
Yeah, sadly.
to make
Well,
way.
Craig wouldn't know anything about that.
No, he hasn't seen the film.
He just
I
thought it was
remember
a
the
house. Yeah, there was a house there for no reason.
And I bought Kerry a Do Not Disturb thing to hang on her door from there in '93. So
Bates Motel one.
Could you
Bates
go?
Motel, yeah.
Could you go into the Bates Motel, or was it just you could see it from a distance type affair, like a
I
set?
believe you can see it from outside.
Yeah, you couldn't go in it. But you could during one of the early Halloween Horror Nights.
Could they read about that in one of your books, Chris?
Do you know what? There's a very lengthy section about that, and you can. But you can read about it in my new one, which hasn't come out yet. It'll be out in a couple of months.
Plug.
But in the meantime, you can read about Psycho films in my latest book, Psychos.
Where'd you find the time?
There's 24 hours in a day.
Crazy son of a gun.
So then we had the Hard Rock Cafe, which was shaped like a guitar.
Has this building gone away now?
Yeah.
So they literally built a guitar-shaped building and then knocked it down.
Yeah.
Well, it sat there for ages, and then we received a rumour that it was going to be refurbed and turned into a Halloween Horror Nights house, and then literally a month later, Universal demolished it. So I don't know if it was the website talking about it, and suddenly people remembered it was there or what, but they quickly demolished it.
I've got no recollection of it. No recollection whatsoever.
You could enter the park from that restaurant, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you could go in, have your dinner,
Yeah.
and
And if you had a ticket, you could go through a turnstile into the park.
That's a nice little classy idea.
Yeah, it's like the secret side entrance.
It's like Disneyland Paris, isn't it, with their little one?
Well, at the moment, while it's still allowed to exist,
Yeah.
says one disgruntled shareholder. So was that also the home of the Boneyard, or was that later?
No, the Boneyard was where the music
The
stage is.
stages.
Yeah. Opposite the Monsters Cafe.
Because I don't remember the Boneyard, and yet apparently it didn't close that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago, but then there wasn't much in it.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff got moved to Hollywood. They did have one of the Jaws from Jaws 4, the actual ones that swam along.
God.
And they keep some of the things like in the studio buildings, like on the outside of them, because you can sometimes see them at Halloween Horror Nights. So that's good. But moving on to the next one is the best attraction that's ever been at Universal and will ever be at Universal. E.T.
Oh, God.
Craig, don't be like that, because
Someone give me a nudge when
in a minute you're going to literally be like, yeah, man, that's the best.
That's because you always get all emotional and then feel sorry for you.
So, Amanda, can you go into great detail about the ride I like to call It's a Small E.T. After All?
No, that's not what it is. It's its own being. And it's the most fantastic.
The second half of that ride is definitely It's a Small E.T. After All.
No, it isn't.
Well, I've got a story about that. No, I haven't.
It's the greatest.
I haven't got a problem with it.
I know you haven't.
I do. It takes up a lot of room and it's rubbish.
No.
Surely, Amanda, it's got to be updated.
Right, I wouldn't mind if they just made little tweaks here and there to it, but nothing else, like just cleaned up a little bit.
So the busy, that doesn't even look like a busy because he's a mannequin.
No, he has to stay how he is.
Just why? Why?
Because that's how it is. That's how he always has been. All that they can do is just like fix bits that are maybe a little bit broken.
I will tell you one thing though about that ride. Is Steven Spielberg has complete control of that ride. Seriously, if he is the only one keeping that thing in that theme park.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if he said tomorrow, yeah, demolish it, they would demolish it straight away.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't because
100%. I know that he got very pissy about E.T. being taken out of Hollywood, didn't he?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but he still did it though, didn't he? So
well, no, they got pissy after he found out they were doing it. I don't think he knew they were doing it beforehand, and that's why he put a veto.
If they don't tell him they're taking it out now, until he finds out, you'll just be a little bit pissy.
No, I'll tell him.
Honestly, they'll wait until he dies and then they'll take it out.
Yeah, they won't even keep it along like Captain EO a tribute. That'll
no,
just go.
Steven Spielberg's died, right? The demolishing equipment comes in.
I'm going to befriend Steven Spielberg and get him to write in his will that I have control over it.
The thing is, right, Amanda. What? So firstly, the ride itself, right? When I first went on it, and I will still maintain this, what amazed me is that you're queuing. It's when you're queuing up to get on the attraction, I really thought they made it feel like you was in a forest. I think they do such a good job of theming on that ride. I will say that. That's the positive. The negative, if you look at Steven Spielberg's back catalogue, right, and what they did with it. So they built a Jaws attraction, right? They built E.T. People now, over 40 years later, still talk about Jaws being one of the greatest films of all time. Whilst people like E.T., and I'm one of those people, I do not have the love for E.T. like I do for Jaws.
I do.
Or even Jurassic Park.
The thing is when Walt Disney, a long time after Walt Disney died and the Disney company had no sense of direction, Spielberg wanted to be the new Walt Disney, but he didn't, and he ended up, because they fell out over money, but he ended up becoming the Walt Disney of Universal. So E.T. should have essentially have been a Disney film.
Oh,
imagine. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. They fell out over money. He had everything approved, apart Disney wouldn't do it.
Well, Jaws, I can't see it happening at Disney because of the fact it was a horror film, essentially.
Yeah, this was after Jaws.
But yeah, E.T. and stuff. And I mean, so is that why he did stuff like An American Tail?
Yeah, because he was basically brought into Universal to set himself up that he would have creative control, completely control, like Hitchcock had back in the day, control of anything he wanted to do, any project, any star, any talent, etc. So, and that's why he's always been sort of with Universal.
But he doesn't do anything with Universal. And what was the last thing he did with Universal?
Popeye, was it? Maybe?
Popeye?
Not Popeye.
Didn't he do a
Tintin.
Transformers?
Yeah,
He's a producer of it.
Yeah, it's not really it's a DreamWorks thing, isn't it? It's not a Steven Spielberg film or anything. Probably was Jurassic Park, wasn't it?
I don't know. He produces so much. I don't know about directing, but he's a producer of everything.
But see, all right. So, what was the last thing like that he directed? Tintin, maybe, which wouldn't be Universal property anyway. He doesn't direct films like he's done a lot of films like, was it Munich? Was that him? Bridge of Spies, I think, was him. Like he doesn't do films that would translate into theme park attractions.
Saving Private Ryan would have been good.
Yeah, everyone wants to do the D-Day landings as a theme park attraction.
I don't think it's high up on his priority list, to be honest with you.
Whatever happened, Chris? You know a lot about Universal. What happened to that Schindler's List dark ride they were going to do?
It was too dark.
I'm not making a joke about the Holocaust. I'm making
made a film about it.
That is true. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I get what they might have been trying to do, and I mean, I think Steven Spielberg's a man with good vision, but anything that you could have thought would be a theme park ride was tied into Disney anyway because of Lucasfilm, like Indiana Jones, for example.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park was probably the last thing he did that could have easily been turned into a theme park attraction.
Okay, I'm going to bring it up. Look at his filmography.
I mean, I know he's doing one about video games at the moment, which might potentially do one. But what was Real Steel his? I don't think it was actually.
No.
He produced that, didn't he?
I'd keep ET forever.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew it.
Amanda, you know what? The ET can be the first attraction at the retro theme park.
No, it's seen in this one.
Well, it's like the one in Magic Kingdom that we all love. It's a great big beautiful tomorrow.
No. No one likes that. You do.
I love it. I sing my head off all the way down. I cry on that ride.
So I can never go on it with you. I mean, to be fair, Craig, I do cry on it when I'm on it as well.
Because you want to get off.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest rides ever made.
Broken, it's really not. It's not even a ride, Craig.
It's a show. It's a Broadway show.
That'd be a great Broadway show. Yeah,
that could be our Christmas episode.
What
a great
big
musical.
Oh God.
Well, anyway, I'm saving all my arguments about ET for my argument episode where I defend it.
We're going on theme park trader, aren't we, Boston?
Yeah.
We're going to kick some ass.
Kicking everyone's bum.
Yeah. Dirty little boys on that podcast. Calling you out.
They say ET is crap.
Yeah. And they're going to knock them out.
War of the Worlds.
Two Scousers back to back.
Yeah, and interestingly, he's only 70. I thought he was older than that.
How old is George Lucas?
Oh, it must be about the same kind of age. They came up together, didn't they?
Yeah, his neck's wide, isn't his head?
Chris, what about Amistad? They can make a Pirates of the Caribbean style attraction about Amistad. That'd be fun for everyone. Warhorse. I mean, I've not seen Warhorse. But... Yeah, but again, tied into Disney, that, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
War of the Worlds, don't they have that as a set still at Universal Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a special contract about that as well.
Yeah.
Can't be used for film.
Yeah, because the plane cost him God knows how much.
Mm.
Weird.
But everything is actually bolted down, all that wreckage.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's right smack bang in the middle of the set from Lost World.
It's right behind the Bates Motel, where the Psycho House, rather.
Yeah, the Lost World set's right behind the houses.
Isn't it right next to Whoville as well?
Yeah, that's behind the motel. That's a bloody stupid place to put that.
Yeah.
I know, that's weird.
I do still love the story of Jim Carrey when he was filming The Grinch about hiding in the Bates Motel.
Oh, don't mention his name.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You got a story?
Have you kept up to date with the news about him?
Huh?
No, I'm not saying.
No, what? No, what? No, what did you say?
I'll tell you after.
Okay. Well, I feel like on that note, we should wrap this up because the next thing on the list was the horror makeup show, and that's still there. Terminator 2 wasn't there yet. Good, because it's rubbish. And then that's it. We've done the whole park.
So what? I know you mentioned a few things, but what is left from 1993 Universal that is still there as of today? Just a whole list, please.
Okay, so we still got the horror makeup show.
Mm-hmm.
We still have E.T.
And that's it.
Yeah.
No, animal actors.
Yeah, animal actors.
Okay. It's
Animal actors can go, but the rest needs to stay.
So animal actors can go, but that can still.
I think them two need to be kept in to give Universal a sense of history.
Yeah, I agree.
Keep its roots in some respect, and you can't take anything else out now because it's literally gone. Universal at that point just becomes a great big cinema multiplex. It's just a lake with 30 different screens around it.
I don't agree.
You don't
because you've got
agree?
things like Diagon Alley.
Yeah, that's got a screen
okay,
at
it's
the
not a
end of it.
ride, but it's a really immersive land.
Supermarket.
No. I love Diagon Alley.
I think they cocked up with Diagon Alley.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You just
The
said
other-
earlier on that you love it. What are you talking about?
I do
This
love
is what he
Diagon.
does. One minute he hates something and then he loves it.
I love it, right? But they made it. The other one on the other side's too small and cramped because it's too realistic. So they've overcompensated on the other side, and it's vast, huge, and full of empty spaces.
I've got a story about that. A true story, right? True story. Amanda, when we were with Logan doing the tour, I thought I'll be gentlemanly. I'll sit in the back row, let everyone else have the primo view of the front seats. Little did I know, the back seats are the best seats.
Yeah.
Because at the start of the ride, it jacks you up, it tilts you, and then it drops you. And being at the back, you get the biggest drop.
Best.
Yeah, honestly, it was like a mini tower of terror.
hmm Whenever anyone goes on it, I'm always like, back row, sit on the back row, best one. It's amazing. But I think they did an amazing job with Diagon Alley. It's what it's supposed to be, shops.
It's an alley.
Diagon Alley is.
Diagon Alley. When you see Diagon Alley on the film, it's a tiny, narrow alley.
But they can't make it that tiny and narrow because look at how many people stand in front of the friggin' dragon trying to get a picture of it.
Well, you couldn't get two fat Americans down Diagon Alley. You could get 30 fat Americans across the friggin' Diagon Alley in there. I'll go and get a
Well,
hot...
they have to take the realisticness of it and make it like, how's this going to work in real life? So that's what they had to do.
You have to get a bus to get the friggin' hot butterbeer.
Now, I've not been to Diagon Alley yet, but what direction do you walk in Diagon Alley?
Horizontally.
I'm curious because I thought that's why it was called Diagon Alley.
No.
Because it's diagonal.
It just reminds me of a big greenhouse in the back of B&Q.
No, it doesn't.
I do not understand you, Craig. Yeah,
No.
I'm glad Jaws is gone. Diagonally rocks.
Diagonally shit.
You know, I just can't make your mind up.
I went mank. Why did it go mank?
Because I couldn't do Scouts. I'd already done you with Cockney, so it wasn't right anyway. Oh, man.
I'm all over the place. I need counselling.
I
I
know.
think we all do after this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
bring
end the
this up a
show
therapy
with
session.
tell him Steve Dave.
It's not how this show ends.
What?
This show
how it
ends when Chris tells us a little story he's got about the show ending.
Okay, I'm really like ending the show now. So
Cool.
buy Chris's book.
Yeah, ta-ra.
Be friends with us on Twitter. Join our Facebook group.
Yeah.
Go and look at our Patreon page.
Yeah,
Go and watch my YouTube channel.
I love it.
Go and give abuse to me and Craig.
Yeah.
No.
Download Strike.
Adam
Download
Yes,
Strike.
no strike.
Download Pop After Dark, and then we'll have a Dis After Dark episode coming up most probably next week.
Next week.
Tell them
Yes.
Steve Dave.
So bye.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, man. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast. If you would like to support Dis After Dark and the other After Dark Network podcasts, please visit our website at www.patreon.com/Dis After Dark. That's patreon.com/Dis After Dark. Thank you. This podcast is part of the After Dark Podcast Network.